I am not going to do that. I do want to watch this new Jubilee where the Jubilee where like they fucking call me out in the beginning of the Jubilee. And I want to see it. I want to watch it. I have no fucking idea what's going on. I watched it earlier this morning. That shit was crazy. Pull me in. I'm completely normal. No, man, shut up. I'm not going to pull any of you motherfuckers in. You guys are crazy. All of you. You're all crazy, okay? I'm not pulling a single one of you, dude. Not right now, at least. Bro, why'd they make this like Hans Zimmer
Hey, Hasan. We know you're going to react to this video, so we want to invite you to be in an episode of Middle Ground.
This is crazy. I can't believe they did this, dude. I can't. They broke the fourth wall. You're not supposed to do this.
Be a one-on-one discussion with someone like Ben Shapiro. So it'll be great if you can announce your participation here first, and we can get Ben's attention. For now, enjoy the video.
Hasan Piker versus Ben Shapiro, an episode of Middle Ground. I mean, I'm fucking down, but like, I doubt that he would do it.
I want to be able to introduce all ways of life.
Yes.
So would it be okay to include a book with a man having a relationship with a 12-year-old in that book? I know it's extreme.
No.
Hold on, but just hear me out.
Because now you're equivocating gay people to pedophiles.
Our boys in this. We got a HasanAbi hit in this.
No, this is why I'm bringing it up, is who establishes the boundary?
The law.
That's our guy.
Teachers have their own political agendas. Step forward if you agree.
I'm so down to debate Ben Shapiro. I just don't think he would ever do it. You know what I mean?
I think it's important to recognize that individuals will have political agendas. It's a natural thing, and people should understand their political views. I think where we need to differentiate it is whether a teacher should have a political agenda in a classroom.
But is your idea of a political agenda like these teachers telling students, this is who you should vote for, if you vote for these people, it's wrong.
Yes,
if you vote for
or
these
ridiculing
people,
the beliefs that they may have for political or religious reasons, and using their position of authority to mold the minds of everyone else.
When it comes to diversity or these new sort of terms, I am not for certain types of what so-called diversity when it comes to these new kind of topics. And
Can you expand upon that? Like, what do you think
like critical race theory or some of the...
Bro, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. These new topics like racism, okay? Topics like history, black history from the perspective of a black person. The concept is something you can apply to everything, dude. It is literally, you're upset at the fundamentals at that point. If you're saying, I don't like the idea of children's minds being molded by random strangers, you're not upset at liberalism. You're upset at the concept of teaching. It's literally like a fucking stupid person saying, oh, how do you know that? You didn't experience it personally. It's like, yeah, dude, you're literally defining how education works. You're talking about foundational principles. You're talking about how people fucking learn, okay? You didn't fucking experience everything. You didn't invent the wheel. Someone else did. You're just taking advantage of it. It's so stupid. It's so stupid when people do this. It's like, oh, I don't like the concept. Like, it's a fundamentally flawed perspective, okay? Unless you are quite literally anti-learning, okay? Unless you're quite literally anti-teaching and anti-learning, which is going against humanity and the human condition, I don't know what to tell you, okay? It's nuts. I hate it. I hate it. I'm yelling because it pisses me off. The stupidity of this shit pisses me off. It's like Republicans talking about, funding government programs. It's like, bro, you just don't want any taxes. You think all taxes are you think all taxes are fraudulent then, okay? Like the way that this is not how the world works.
Gender ideologies. It's not diverse if you're the teacher, the person of authority in the classroom, and you are saying this is how something should be.
Yeah, so I come from an elementary perspective. I'm a first grade teacher, so the conversations we're having in class isn't about the socioeconomic nature of the world. But, we do talk about just what it looks like for different people in different communities.
Typical Bernie bro, writing off a black woman's argument before she even finishes it. Yeah, of course, dude. I'm freaking racist and misogynistic. Misogynoir is what I'm doing here. Misogynoir is when you criticize a conservative parent's idiotic fucking perspective on the concept of teaching.
So when I talk about a political agenda, the agenda that I have in the classroom is to create an environment where folks are able to, better understand from
Mason is the
wherever
HasanAbi
someone is
head.
coming from.
The problem with that, and I understand the sentiment as a teacher, if a child is sitting there and they happen to be black and you're saying, well, black people such and such and such. I mean, you're really, that's not okay.
I do have to stop you there because that's not really said. It's not said black people do this.
Well,
it's not said Mexicans do this. Again, it's trying to understand from multiple perspectives. That's not saying that every group aligns on the same thought. That's not saying every group is a monolith. What it's saying is, even if you disagree with somebody or you come from a different tradition or a different cultural background, those people's opinions can still be valid.
And the disagreeer steps forward.
What does it
I'll
take
be
to get
honest,
recognized
as a
as a said HasanAbi head? Mason had a legendary fucking run, dude. What are you talking about? He went on a like fake libertarian, like, what was it, like a box one? I think he was like one fake libertarian or one fake conservative. And then he literally turned around and duped everyone, including myself. And the reveal was legendary because he said, my favorite conservatives. Yeah, he 1v4'd. Like, it was crazy. The anti-vax episode, that's what it was. Oh, yeah, he made himself come across like an anti-vaxxer. It was so good. And then he just drops out of nowhere in the middle of it like, oh, here's the moment.
Like Dr. Robert Malone, Hank Pecker, there's a lot of different streamers and media outlets that I think do push a more like, you should be able to choose what you want for your body.
Oh! Are you fucking joking? He said Hank Pecker, bro. He said my favorite like conservative podcasters and streamers like Hank Pecker. Oh, dude, he's so good. He's so fucking good. Like, he was so good, he duped me. And like it pissed me off a little bit, okay? Like, he fucked me up, dude. When you're so good at doing conservative talking points that you even got me, Hank Pecker, duped, is fucked up.
Sure, especially after COVID and all of that, I don't have time for a political agenda. I'm here trying to catch up with curriculum, pick up my readers that are, 2, 3 grade levels behind. I do not have time for that. I teach social emotional skills and all of that, but I'm not here to kind of, you need to believe this, and that. No. If you're a good person, we're good. We're gravy. All good. You know what I mean?
But your definition, and sometimes this can happen and it becomes political, is what is your definition of a good person? Would you think that I'm a good person because I'm raising my kids to be with Judeo?
Dude, only a conservative would say, oh, you're making your definition of what it means to be a good person. No one on the planet is like, actually being a good person is a political concept, okay? The only people that say this are conservatives. I've never heard a liberal go, fucking, actually, like, being a good person is subjective. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. You just know that your fucking worldview is, like, designed around hatred and some of your core principles, which, by the way, goes for liberals, too, especially when you talk about, like, economic subjects. But, like, your worldview unironically revolves around, like, going against like fundamental principles that we teach our children at an early age by calling it socialism or communism. Like, sharing is caring, okay? Like, you have rewired your brain into thinking that is a bad thing. Like, right off the jump, you're like, oh, LaFontaine, don't read that shit, brother. You fucking kidding me? I don't read that French garbage. That's communism, brother. Sharing is caring. Get the fuck out of here. Sharing is communism. You know? That's it. That's literally a fundamental principle instilled upon people from an early age. Peace is good, okay? Let peace lead the way. Love is love, okay? These are all concepts that are antithetical to the conservative project, okay? That's why they lose their fucking shit. That's why they're like, well, actually, let's argue about the ethics behind whether or not, you're actually a moral person. Let's argue about whether or not, good and let's argue about good and evil. It's like, no, dude. They just mean like be nice, be kind to others, be nice. Like those sorts of fucking values are good. But you have been brain broken, which is precisely the reason why you think be nice is a political subject.
Judeo-Christian values, and they live in a heteronormative home where we talk about how divorce is wrong, cheating is wrong. We have friends of the LGBT community, but we teach our children that from a biblical perspective, that's not okay. Your definition of whether or not they are good could be very different than my definition of whether or not they are good.
Yeah, because you're a bad person. You're a fucking freak. You're a freakazoid, dude. Holy shit. Your concept of good and mine can be so wrong it's just like, it's insane. No liberal is like, that's the main difference. You want to know what the main difference is? No fucking progressive, liberal, whatever parent is teaching their children that it's bad to be straight. Okay? That's a you thing, dog. You are the problem. That's why you have an issue with what it means to be good. Because deep down inside, you kind of understand, like, you have that core value instilled in you because you're a human being, and it's like kind of at the fundamental building block of living in a society, which is that there is parts collectivism and parts individualism in there, and you have been so brain broken into thinking that like collective action is completely devoid in modern society building that you don't even want to think about it. You're like, no, it's actually. Sharing is caring is bad, and good and evil are actually concepts that are up to the individual, and that like the other side is actually bad. We should teach our children to not be gay. Okay? It's so stupid. No gay parent is like, hey, by the way, if you want to fuck like, the members of the opposite sex, like you can't do that. That's not a thing. You're the only dumbass doing it. That's actually funny. That would be a funny sketch if it's like gay parents, if they were like conservative fucking heteronormative parents, how they would educate their children.
To kind of clarify, in my classroom, if they're kind and they're not bashing anybody, judging anybody, kind of throwing out names, anything like that, they're good. It's not to say that topics like that don't come up in class. And I do open it up to discussion. I just keep it clear that this is a safe space. We don't judge each other. We're not going to bash each other.
It's going to be Austin. No, Austin is way too... Unironically, Austin is so fucking straight-coded, he wouldn't even be able to do that.
I understand you have your own experiences, but we're not going to come in with an agenda, you can say. And I feel like this idea of parents and their teachers of their political biases and all of this is just all of this fear that is clouding their judgment, clouding...
Except we have numerous, not just...
We have experiences.
Yeah, my own child, first week of school, what pronouns you wanted to go by. I mean, not what's your favorite subject, how can I help you succeed academically?
Who's to say that wasn't a part of the questions too, And understand that question could stand out.
So maybe you don't understand that you're teaching politics.
But that's not politics. That's just like basic respect. Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
But it's not true.
That's beautiful.
Not to me.
So I think you need your idea that's basic respect. What is the framework of that? Because I think that many teachers are going through these trainings, and the trainings are saying this is the framework of how we operate in the classroom. But where did that idea come from?
Because it's based off. It's called a thing called data.
Did you do that?
No, hold on. A lot of schools have research and development, and so the state also does. So in the state of California, we do research. So at the end of the day, my job is not just to make your kid to feel comfortable. I got 55 students. I got to make 55 students feel comfortable.
Own their asses.
So when your kid-
They're fraudulent. Own them. Own their asses. I got to say something here, by the way. Okay. Conservatives love talking about how big, brave boys and girls they are until pronouns come in. And then they're like, wow, holy shit. Their brains break immediately. They're like, whoa, pronouns? That's fucked up. It's like, why? Why is that fucked up? You have pronouns, idiot. Everybody has pronouns. Like, what the fuck kind of dumb take is that? They're unironically advocating for gender abolition. They're like, no pronouns. That's not real. I hate that. I don't want pronouns.
Kid comes home and tells you, well, Mom, the teacher said, what's my pronouns? Yeah, I did say, what's your pronoun? I also said, what's your favorite TV show? What's your favorite food? I am a college.
That's unacceptable. These lip-tard teachers are asking our children what their favorite TV shows are. It's fucked up. It's Fox News, Tucker Carlson. That's what. You better not be asking my child what their favorite TV show is. How about you, an adult male, talking to a child, teaching them, indoctrinating them? That's fucked up. It's like, yeah, dude, you just described the concept of going to a school. I don't want my government to have a number associated with me? You mean to tell me that the government is going to put a number on my name that identifies me, that makes me fucking pay taxes? What the fuck kind of bullshit fascist communist China nonsense is that? Bet they want to sell that to us by giving us a funny name, you know, Social Security. Security, it's right there in the name. Don't fall for it. More like socialism security. More like socialism insecurity. Am I right, brother? They're coming after you. One of my favorite fucking concepts on the planet is like, stupid conservatives describe normal government functions, but in a scary way because they don't understand how it works and they don't even understand that they're a part of it. They're a part of that fucking design. They're a part of that system. They've been living under it for a very long time, but then they describe it in a scary way. They did this so much with like the vaccines, right? They're like, oh, yeah, that's right. Scientists that went to school to learn about homosexual gender Marxism get together and wear lab coats and test shit on animals. Okay? That's unacceptable. That's crazy. They're testing stuff on animals and then they're giving vaccines to those animals. I'll tell you what. Not putting that shit in my body.
College professor now. I was previously a 3rd, 4th grade teacher. Teaching 3rd and 4th grade was horrible. Dealing with parents who thought their child was special and should be treated a certain way. It just wasn't doable. The constant complaining, the accusing people of doing things that are not going on in our classes, not being enough for their child. It was just too much. When parents don't have the knowledge of what goes on inside of a school, I think it's important for those parents to go to the school. And we as educators like our parents to be involved. You know, again, I have too many
Be careful what you wish for, my man. Oh, no.
Students to push an agenda. I do my job, what they pay me to do.
Discussion about sexuality doesn't belong in schools.
It's like, bro, they're teachers, dog. They teach. Like, every aspect of human existence is being taught in schools. Like, you don't get to pick and choose that. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a crazy fucking concept. Holy shit, dude. Like, you can't, you're just anti-sex ed. Like, that's wild. Sex education, okay, has, and I'm talking about non-abstinence only sex education because some states do offer sex ed, but it's just abstinence only. Outside of abstinence only sex education, states that actually do offer sex ed demonstrably have positive impacts on curbing back teenage pregnancies and child pregnancies. Isn't that crazy? That's wild that if you look at a fucking map of states that don't allow sex ed, and then you look at teenage pregnancies, it's almost like there's a correlation there.
I had a sex ed class when I was in 3rd grade, and it was quite simple. Boys go in this room, girls go in this room, they play a little video on a black and white TV. You know, you see the genitalia, and you're like, oh God, I got one of those, cool, now we're figuring out what I am. The fear is these schools have no...
Bro, this is also another hilarious part of like new age conservatism is that like a dude that looks like this, bro, if you look like a Horizon Zero Dawn character, like it's breaking my brain. You know what I mean? Like I expect you not to be conservative. Okay. Like I just immediately, my assumption is like, you're not going to be a conservative person. And now every bike messenger looking motherfucker is like, I'm conservative actually. Okay. It's crazy. QAnon has like broke so many crunchy granola motherfuckers' asses, dude. Like if you look like you're coming back from Burning Man, do not tell me about like, you know, gender binaries, dude.
Boundaries. If they do the classroom thing where they want to split kids up, how many genders are we going to do this? We're going to put boys, them, and then girls, and then how many rooms do we need to create for equality? Or are we really chasing equity? And I think parents now are beginning to realize we've got to stop this and create framework about sexuality, especially in a hyper-sexualized culture. My kids don't need to know at 6, 7, and 8 years old about different types of sexual acts. That's not appropriate.
People think
this is such a fucking, dude, why are they arguing over shit that doesn't happen in schools, man? It's like, bro, that's not happening. Like, your teacher is not teaching. Oh my God, dude. It's literally just made up. Like 80% of the conservative grievances are just made up, okay? You're like, oh, where'd you hear that? Oh, the friend of mine's a teacher. And they told me. It's like, no, they didn't. You just saw that on a fucking Facebook post. And unfortunately, because of our like increasingly online existence, your brain has no way of distinguishing what you actually like learned from your own personal account of a situation and what you saw on your Facebook timeline. It's crazy. Zero Dawn looking ass. Yeah. It's true.
I think that this is just kind of happening. It's a one-off. It is in so many schools. Where I live in Florida, there was a poster going around where kids could text anonymous strangers to get information about sex. And on this poster in school, want to get laid?
Wow.
That's not true. That never happened, okay? And if it did happen, it was 100% some fucking pedophile libertarian. We're talking about Florida after all, okay? Jesus Christ, dude. This is the world. This is the world these brave parents are fighting
Papa
against.
says God hates breeders.
Imagine a world where being gay is the norm.
And they're all gonna burn in hell.
Well, can I kiss you just one last time? Please, I don't know when I'm ever going to get to kiss a boy again.
Gotcha!
What are you doing? Get away from me!
Ian.
I don't know why she keeps touching me like this. I was just trying to be nice to her. I hate you, Ashley Curtis. Stay away from me.
That's the problem. You can't be nice to heteros. But you can always teach them a lesson. Grab her.
Wait, I don't get it. Like, is this pro or anti-gay? I'm not even kidding. Like, is this like anti-gay and they're saying if you normalize homosexuality, this is what's going to happen? Or is this pro-gay and they're saying like, you know, this is what you're doing to gay people? It's so poorly done that it could go both ways. Yes? Question mark? Both. It's both. It's whatever you make of it.
You can run, you little row! But you won't get away! Come on, we're
Bro, I have to watch this. I have to watch this from the jump. You're blind. It's not pro or anti-gay. They're just saying heteros are annoying. True. It's pro-gay. There's a suicide scene later in the vid. Okay, I'm definitely watching this from, like, I'm watching this. Not right now, though, because I want to finish this, and there's, like, 30 more minutes.
I mean, it's beyond, and there is a push for pleasure-based sex. Pleasure for who?
My oldest is 9 years old. She's in 3rd grade, and she's been exposed to.
What the fuck? Bro, what is she saying? Like, bro. That's not like, that's crazy. That's crazy. You're crazy. They're not teaching 9-year-olds how to fucking finger themselves, dude. What the fuck? I can't believe I even said that word. Like, conservatives are so fucking psychotic that, like, I'm, like, you're living in a universe where, like, even addressing the psychotic shit that you're saying is insane. It makes me look like an insane person. Fuck! It's literally the fucking, the pedophile defense brigade. You know what I mean? It's like there's something kind of weird about, like, pedophile hunters that are, like, obsessed with, like, presenting themselves as fucking children on the internet all the time. They'll, like, catch pedophiles and shit. It's like, after a while, you just become hysterical. You know what I mean? And that's what these conservatives have done to themselves.
To things, and we do have conversations about it, but that's a conversation that I should be having with my 9-year-old daughter. If a 6th grader or a 4th grader is going to be prompted by a teacher, hey, what are your pronouns? As a parent, I should have a heads up about that, because they're not even going to understand the question. And so I think that the idea that those conversations are started in the classroom instead of in the home is a big problem. I have a family member who first day of 6th grade was at—
Dude, Michael, that's such a good fucking take. Holy shit. The kill your local pedophile rhetoric hits so hard for so many shitheads because it's like the one type of person who's worse than them. That's why the shit gets so dangerous so quickly. They truly think they're doing some heroic act. Yeah, that's right. When you're the most annoying person, when you're the most, like, mentally fucking stunted, mind-bogglingly evil dickhead in the fucking, in the little homeowners organization that you fucking live in, the one person that is, like, demonstrably worse than you is a pedophile. Okay? You're just a bad person, and then there's only one guy that's worse than you is a pedophile. That's why you, like, grab onto that.
asked for her pronouns.
That's a
and
great
she stood up
take.
and said that as a person of faith, she believed that God didn't make a mistake making her a girl, and so therefore she identified as a she, her, and she was sent to the principal's office and punished for that decision. Thankfully, we haven't seen that broadly yet, but I think it's really damaging to take a shy, innocent 11-year-old child and make them stand in front of a classroom and determine.
Wait, what? Who was punished for what?
So therefore she identified as a she, her, and she was sent to the principal's office.
What? There's no fucking way that someone was punished for saying they're she, her. They definitely said way more than that, okay? No, like no 11-year-old is being punished for saying I'm she, her. They were like, you're not they, them. You're going to jail. They're going to jail.
Making was asked for her pronouns, and she stood up and said that as a person of faith, she believed that God didn't make a mistake making her a girl, and so therefore she identified as a.
She said God didn't make a mistake making her a girl. Even that in and of itself, like, is not enough. I don't think. Like, she definitely did some more shit than that. Like, yeah, she was being fucking cheeky as always, but like still, I'm sure there was way more than that before that was like the reason why.
She, her, and she was sent to the principal's office and punished for that decision. Thankfully, we haven't seen that broadly yet, but I think it's really damaging to take a shy, innocent 11-year-old child and make them stand in front of a classroom and determine something that they maybe haven't even put that much thought into.
Yeah, she hasn't put that much thought into it. She's just repeating what her fucking dumbass parents have said, most likely.
I like what you said, Sean, about how you were emphasizing how a lot of parents today felt a goodness of the way that sexual education was conducted in the past. So there is an agreement that sexuality should be talked about in schools. The disagreement is whether it should just be purely heteronormative or if we should include all aspects of
Yeah,
sexuality.
Mason, get them.
I don't think that we're doing demonstrations to encourage children how to have sex, but this is something that we are trying to, again, educate and make them aware that this kind of things happen. And while you grow up, you're going to have to experience somebody who's of this orientation.
Kids are naturally curious, and I think that what I'm hearing from you is I understand where you're maybe potentially coming from, but then where's the line between that sex education and introducing them to porn? Because porn can be educational. I was a virgin when I got married, and
I sure would hate to learn that school was making my kids think about stuff they didn't normally think about. Yeah. Yeah, again, 41 minutes. The entire video revolves around that. Conservative argument for this is literally just, I'm actually anti-education, okay? That is exactly what every argument revolves around, a fundamental flaw, okay? One side is like, well, we have a job, which is to teach your children things that they didn't know about, okay? And then the other side's like, fuck that. That's actually fucked up. Don't do that. I don't want you to do that. Like, you don't have a problem. You have a problem with school. Like, you have a problem with the concept of learning. You have a problem with the concept of education. That's what you have a problem with.
for years I was made fun of and heard, well, how are you going to know if you don't try it? We hear that a lot too. If you haven't tried to kiss a girl to see if you like it or not, then how do you really know that you're not a lesbian? How do you really know that you're not gay if you've never slept with a guy? How do you really know that you want to be in a monogamous relationship if you don't sleep around? And when you start to introduce those questions to children, specifically prepubescent ones, they're going to naturally be curious.
Bro, she's like, I have intrusive thoughts. I will tell you right now, I have intrusive thoughts. Sometimes I like to think about, sometimes I like to think about the pool boy. He is 19 years old, and I don't like it. Sometimes I like to think about the librarian. She is very attractive. She got those round spectacles, and I think she makes me tingle in places I never thought about. It's like, what are you saying? What the fuck? You are literally against exploration because you want people to repress their feelings because of the fear, which is unreasonable if we think about the entire population, but certainly a reasonable fear for you that you might like it. Okay? That's crazy.
And their emotional and hormonal maturity is not there to be making those types of decisions that have lifelong impact.
Well, you're right, and a lot of them are learning at home because just like you guys are saying, they come home to tell you things. Well,
by the way, the other hilarious part about that argument is that, like, she is right technically, but not in the way that she thinks she is. If you repress your sexuality like that, yes, of course, sooner or later, it is going to lead to complications in your life. If you repress your sexuality without exploring it and figuring yourself out in a healthy way, yes, one porn please could like dramatically change your life. You're bust, okay? All of a sudden you're like, oh fuck. I'm in a fucking marriage. I'm really unhappy. I just realized why I'm unhappy because I want to watch lesbian porn.
Guess what? Those same kids come to school and talk about what you're telling them at home. You'll be surprised what I hear from students when I do a "What do you think?" Well, let me tell you what my mama and daddy did. And look, I don't have time. Your kid is not that important to me. Not to be rude, I got like 300 students. Your kid is no more important than the other 299. So I don't have time to sit up here and let me get you to think.
This is a really good take, by the way. Like highlighting how selfish conservative parents are. Remarkable take. 100% on point. It's great.
Like me, I can't
he's had to deal with a lot of parent-teacher conferences, by the way. Like that's coming from a place of a lot of experience.
My own 23-year-old to think like me. At the end of the day, what needs to happen, and this is just my own personal take, parents need to start being parents because a lot of times the teachers are the parents. They're parenting your kids because absentee parenting.
I think that this conversation is really interesting, and I think we need to step back and look at why we automatically assume that if we're telling our children about lesbians, gay people, queer people, why do we immediately equivocate that to telling them about what sex is? That can just be something as simple as, here is a book. In this book, there are 2 dads. This book character has 2 dads. And kids, they can be inquisitive, and that's good, right? But also, like, they're gonna be like, cool, there's 2 dads.
All these kids know that there's a dad and a dad and a mom and a mom, and the culture is teaching all of that. So what we've noticed is that the curriculum in 8th grade and up is a lot deeper than that. It's more like, here is how you can have sex so you do not get pregnant. Illustration of anal sex. That is the stuff that we're now reacting against, and that sadly is.
That's interesting. It's also like not happening, but that's cool. Here's how you can have sex without getting pregnant is like important to learn. As far as like anal sex or whatever the fuck they're talking about, I don't know where that's coming from, but I suspect it's probably left to either the imagination of these hallucinating parents, or if they're talking about that, they're most likely talking about it from like, other ways of other methods of having sex include or whatever. There's no, Lamel, the sex that we got was putting condom on a banana. Look, I don't know. I don't think that they're talking about anal sex in schools, but I don't know. And the reason why I don't know is because I didn't go to school here. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they teach in sex ed. Okay. We can't teach too much sex ed because we have to plan for the likely school shooting. They generally teach that anal sex is more dangerous here anyway. Yeah, they'll probably say like anal sex, it can happen, you can do it, but it's dangerous. It's more dangerous than vaginal intercourse, probably. They're talking about what kids can learn on Tumblr and not what they learn in schools. These parents can't differentiate. No, I used to teach sex ed, and they don't teach that here at all. These conservatives are crazy. In sex ed, I never learned alternative ways of having sex. They just taught us how to be safe during. Yeah, they just... Like, usually from what I understand or from what I've seen, it's just like a banana and a fucking condom. Safe sex measures. Which is good. That's literally what you're supposed to learn. How to prevent STIs, things like that. That's it. Which is, you're going to learn that. You're going to need to learn that. It is demonstrably a positive thing to learn. It's like, it's so weird that we're so puritanical that like sex is categorized as like a broadly different thing. Like, motherfucker, at that point they're learning about war. Can you imagine parents pulling up and being like, I can't believe they're teaching about World War I and II to our children. A lot of people died. I don't let them watch R-rated movies. Why are we letting them watch R-rated? Why are they learning about R-rated history? It's like, what the fuck?
Is the trust that's being broken between
This is one of the conservative parents.
Yeah, and I think we're moving into a conversation about comprehensive sex ed. What I am talking about is when I go into this classroom and I'm teaching kids, I'm not going to just teach kids material that is heteronormative.
Out of curiosity, it sounds like what you're saying is you want to be able to introduce all ways of life. Like these are the people that you will encounter with throughout life.
That is what I'm arguing, yes.
So would it be okay to include a book with a man having a relationship with a 12-year-old in that book? I know it's extreme.
No.
Hold on, but just hear me out.
Because now
Bro, there's a difference between pedophilia, which is not a victimless crime, and consensual homosexual relationships. I really thought that the Pastafarian bike messenger looking motherfucker would know the difference. This is the most libertarian self-report I've ever fucking seen in a conversation. Why do you always bring up pedo shit? Oh my God. They're crazy. They're crazy. They're crazy. They're crazy. They're crazy. They're so crazy.
Equivocating gay people to pedophiles.
No, I'm not.
And no, that's not okay.
That is not.
You're drawing a line that I'm not drawing.
And you're definitely crossing the line.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree. And this is why I'm bringing it up: is who establishes the boundary?
The law.
But what law? The law.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good starting point. Also, morality could be a boundary there. I mean, you know, he says the law, but also like, you know,
the law is.
But the law that's been signed in some
No,
states,
I'm sorry. No, there's laws against between adults having sex with children. Now, if a student had two parents who happen to be of the same sex, I'm not going to sit there and discount who they are in my class. I cannot do that. I signed a contract.
I would never ask anybody to uplift or.
it's like just like I can't say that Palestine is a country, and you know, and that the Palestinian people are human beings that deserve dignity and emancipation from a occupying force. I signed a contract. It's called the anti-BDS contract. I'm a teacher in Texas. By the way, look that shit up. That's the real. For the record, that is a real thing that they make you in fucking Texas sign. Okay? For those of you who don't know, you're like, why the fuck would that be a thing? Yeah, look up anti-BDS laws in Texas.
Or suppress any child. I want there to be equality in the classroom. What I am saying is that there are factual instances where this is being taught in classrooms. I pulled my children out of public school because there are so many instances of this happening. I am a parent. I'm looking in the book bag every day. I'm checking in with homework. I am talking to the teachers and the
God, you know she's the most annoying motherfucker at PTA.
Principals, and I'm involved, but we didn't know that, you know, during class, there were images shown of literal sex acts or describing certain situations that were inappropriate for young children.
We have a belief system at home, and the children want to break the boundaries of that belief system naturally because we're human beings. That's just what we do. And we're trying to confine them to a set of beliefs to say, this is what is right in our home. And we're seeing the schools get funding from Planned Parenthood. They tried to pass a bill to put medical facilities to offer abortions in high schools here in California. And it's gradual, right? It starts with, this is a book that has two dads. This is a book.
Bro, first of all, that's a great idea. Number one. Number two, okay. That was literally, that is 1,000,000% like a provision that allows like the school nurse to make like, as long as they have the proper certifications, to make like medical assessments on things like that, so, and then refer them to a clinic. And then conservatives took that and ran with like, they are forcibly aborting your teenage pregnant daughters. Okay? Like, it's always some shit like that. It's always like a major red tape involved, like bureaucratic decision that like gives just a fraction more comfort to teenagers going through a tough time, right? To make like a medical decision, right? And conservatives will turn that into like the school nurse can offer condoms to students to like they are both forcibly impregnating our daughters and then forcibly making them do abortions. That's what this bill is. That's what this bill is about. It's like, no, that's not. You're insane. You're an insane person.
Book with two moms. And it's just a gradual curiosity that could leverage and break away that child from the root in the home. My education growing up was fully public education. College is where I started getting a curiosity for truth and education, and I think I'm so passionate about the education system today because it is obviously broken, but how do we fix it? Many of these progressive ideas in fixing it is just more empathy, sympathy, safety, but in reality, I see the public school system isn't actually accomplishing the goal of what education is, which is teaching critical thinking, how to understand, how to ask good questions.
I love that this guy thinks he knows how to do critical thinking. It's just like, you could not be further from the truth, my man.
And then comprehend how to problem solve.
Oh God.
Affirmative action is racial discrimination.
I'm more annoyed that his haircut is cool.
There was a high school down the street from where I live in Los Angeles that encouraged all the kids of color to apply for their school play. And only once all the kids of color received whatever positions they wanted, then the white kids could apply. That, in my opinion, is an example of discrimination. The fact that we now have Harvard has black-only kids' dorms, that to me is segregation.
With affirmative action, we've seen with Harvard lawsuits and other things how it's backfiring and it's picking and choosing of which minorities can and cannot have success. It was done to try to create or make up for the wrongs of our past, but I think it's really backfired.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, excluding those excelling students in other races to fix the problems of the past, like you said. But I think the past, there were a lot of minorities that were excelling and doing really well.
Despite the foot of the
Exactly.
government and like.
Where? What? No, there weren't. What? No, they were like. What? Bro, he's not talking about like. The fuck's he talking about? Is he like literally saying like, oh, in the past, like there was what, like some people really excelled at like what, fucking picking cotton? Like what the fuck's he talking about? Like the wrongs of the past are literally like slavery and segregation. Like what the fuck do you mean? What, does he mean the past like 10 years ago? Like what the fuck is he talking about? What kind of fucking take is this? I do not understand, Mr. Critical Thinking. What the fuck? It's quite literally, what the fuck? I have 100% bought shrooms with this dude at Grateful Dead concert. I actually don't understand what the fuck he's talking about. Like, what? Does he mean like outliers? Like he's talking about like the one fucking guy, you know, W.E.B. Du Bois, like, you know, every now and then, like even in the segregation era, there were like people who were able to overcome immense amounts of discrimination. Or is he talking about the model minority myth? Because if he's talking about the model minority myth, like, yeah, dramatically different socioeconomic factors at play there. Like, notice how, like, here's the thing. This comes from, again, the White Supremacist Association with, like, assuming that all races are a monolith, right? All non-white races are a monolith. Like, they'll always say, like, oh, Asians. Okay, bro. When you say Asian, like, who are we talking about? Are you talking about people that are coming from, you know, China, that come from better socioeconomic backgrounds? Or are you talking about fucking Vietnamese people like that came to the United States of America under very different set of circumstances? Or are you talking about, you know, Southeast Asian people that, again, come into the United States of America under very different circumstances? Like, the idea that like, you know, the idea that like all Asians are a certain way is such a fucking stupid thing. It is entirely dependent on the broad socioeconomic factors and whether there was like amnesty or refugee, like whether there was like a time when refugees were allowed. It's just, it's so dumb.
Yes.
Kudos to them.
Yes.
Incredible, strong human beings. And we shouldn't have that discrimination in any way anymore. But unfortunately, it has become a discrimination against other groups.
Yeah, it's racism. It is racism. If you are taking a group of people and
Oh, the guy who shot up the LGBT bar is apparently the grandson of the GOP California State Assemblyman Randy Vopel from San Diego, who voiced support for the January 6th Capitol attack. Interesting. I wonder why they didn't do anything about it, and his record was expunged as an adult, or not expunged, but sealed as an adult. That's interesting. You mean tell me that the GOP may have terrorists in their midst? Surely this will shock the world. Definitely just a conservative parent. Oh, yeah, this is a trick that they pull all the time. So conservatives have a lot of people with like disposable income and like a lot of free time on their hands. They love making these like idiotic fucking organizations. Oh, he's a 3%er. Wait. Does Sean have a 3%er tattoo in his hand? Oh. That's interesting. Okay, well that brings up a lot more. That's not him. Wait, really? That's not him?
Revival is to spark the hearts of men to get activated once again. Let's show people what freedom really.
Oh, that isn't him. That's another dude. What the fuck? That's literally another dude with the same hair. What the fuck?
Looks like freedom is joy and hope.
That's crazy. No, that's him. Wait, where is it? No,
and
it's not.
Love.
Look at his hand.
And that comes through Christ. That comes through the example of Jesus Christ's teachings. This is it. This is the birth of something great.
Name is Sean too? No, that's him. No, I'm saying this is a different guy. Like this is not our Sean. This is our Sean. In the Freedom Revival group, there are multiple guys with that hair, some of which are 3%ers, I guess, or have 3%er tattoos.
Comes through Christ. That comes through the example of Jesus Christ's teachings. This is it. This is the birth of something great.
So the Bible says that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And that's what this is about. This is about...
Yeah, there was another... Dude, that's so cool. Like, Rasta libertarians. Dude, that's all... Oh, that's the guy.
We're making an effort to try and get politicians to actually care about the people and not trying to follow a political agenda. It's about freedom in every aspect.
That's the guy who has the tattoo. What the fuck? By the way, this is a thing that they do all the time. They do it on fucking Fox News and they do it on Jubilee as well. Conservatives have so many of these like psychotic fucking 501c3s that are like about, you know, preserving the safety of our children's genitals or whatever the fuck, right? And then, you know, they'll always have like a concerned parent come on, and it's like the guy is like the leader of the Penis Inspection Day momentum group. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you're not just a conservative parent, dude. You're not a conservative concerned parent. You're literally the leader of the Penis Inspection Day movement group. Okay, that's a whole different thing. That's what you're doing.
And judging them on their race and setting them aside, giving them a special treatment if you are uplifting a person or you are trying to suppress a person because of their race. That is racism. So we're supposed to believe that someone like Barack Obama's children are like struggling because they're black? Like that's ridiculous.
Damn, she's just fucking owned racism, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, she just owned it, dude. Everyone's always saying that, by the way. People are saying that systemic racism exists, which is why Barack Obama's children are suffering. That's what that means. To be fair, I'm going to be as charitable as I can to her because we live in a liberal, we live under this like incredibly powerful liberal hegemonic culture that obviously the idea of class and your class position has been like completely wiped clean from our understanding of ourselves. So she can't even comprehend that like there could be one identifier that is more powerful than the others when determining someone's future. So that's it. That's where this fucking idiotic nonsense comes from.
Ridiculous. So I pulled my oldest daughter out a public school in Florida. We were having debates about pulling down statues and changing names, and some of the school board members and some of the activist groups were saying that black children could not learn because of names on buildings, and that is completely asinine to me. It basically says that because we have a higher level of melanin, somehow our brains don't work. And every other kid could walk into the building and get the education that they needed, but somehow.
God, I fucking hate, like, ugh. I hate how, like, I'm actually smarter than everyone she is, too. She's like, I'm in on something that no one else is. I'm a critical thinker, unlike the rest of the blacks. Like, okay, dude, chill. What the fuck? Like, you haven't arrived at like one fucking thing. You haven't arrived at like one correct position this entire time. And every single time you fucking bring this shit up, every single time you bring something up, it is completely made up. It's a completely made up grievance. Okay, no one is saying that like, oh. Students can't fucking learn, or black students specifically can't learn education or the things that they're being taught because like there is what do you call it? Because like the fucking school names are a certain way. No, it's just more so like another institutional. It's just another institutional reinforcement of like where black students are going to school. Okay. It is the same exact concept as putting a fucking Robert E. Lee statue outside of a courthouse during the civil rights movement, okay? It is to remind people what this country was built on, okay? White supremacist foundations. So defending that is really stupid. Like, it's just insane to me. Defending that as a black person is additionally stupid.
Not for you, black children. And I found that to be just disgusting. And I did not want my children to have any type of idea coming from authority figures who believed in such things like that.
First of all, I would like to say that affirmative action programs, the biggest beneficiary according to the data, and this has been government data, has been white women first and foremost. Second of all, I would never use Barack Obama's kids as a barometer for anything because they do have privilege as well as Will Smith kids. But if we talk about Laquan Smith down the street that nobody knows, there will be some impediments based on his race. Yeah.
Why? How do you know that?
Because people do
What the fuck? Dude, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Class, dude. Class. Black people were systemically robbed of playing a fucking role in society that profited off of their labor for hundreds of fucking years. And then on top of that, even after the abolition of slavery, they were still utilized as a way to drive a wedge between the working class. Ultimately, there are two things here. You either think that black people are across the board experiencing economic results that they do where they underperform as a consequence of intrinsic factors, where you literally have to admit that you are just a racist person and you think that like black people are inferior or some shit, or external factors that are completely outside of their fucking control, which means systemic racism, which means you have to exist as systemic racism happened and it's still happening. That's it. It's not that hard to come to terms with this reality.
Tend to look and see race. What you were talking about is just racism, but when it's institutional and structural, it does something totally different. And when the black wealth gap is 100 years behind the white wealth gap in America, it'll take 100 years to catch up.
Why do you think that's because of racism, though? You take one.
Yeah, no. There's just, It's not totally. Yeah. Slavery wasn't was defended on white supremacist grounds or institutionalized, codified on white supremacist grounds. It was something totally different.
One thing and say that is the cause for every person of color.
The data
What data? What data is saying that black people are behind? Because there are many black people that aren't behind, that are doing much better than other people.
No, you're absolutely right. And there are outliers in every single community. There are very strong, members of the black community that are very affluent. There are also a majority that live in poverty. And if we see a bunch of cities that are majority person of color, and we're trying to recognize why have these places stayed at a very stable poverty line? But there are systemic reasons to why these communities are like that. How would you
I would say probably because of policies that are in those cities.
Yeah, no, she doesn't think it's racist policy. She's going to hit the Thomas Sowell. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready for the welfare. Get ready for the welfare note.
Racist policies, absolutely.
Hold on, we got to define terms. When would you say that?
Oh, they cut her off. Oh, no. She was going to hit the Thomas Sowell, dude. What the fuck? Yeah. She was going to say, like, it's because black people are too addicted to the government dime. You know what I mean? That's what it is. She's about to say welfare, 100%. As crazy as the top of the hour ad break just cut you off so aggressively, you know? Especially when at the top of the hour comes and goes. Okay? But if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. Or by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. Okay? Woman ad break now. GOP Lemon Party. Thank you for the 531 gift.
Boston Compton became the way that it is. Was it like that in the 40s and 50s?
No, it's a growth
No,
because
I'm
of the
asking
policies,
you.
from redlining policies that were enabled.
In California?
Yeah, absolutely. California put in racist policies. I would never deny that.
Bro, this guy thinks California didn't have redlining. That's crazy. No, dude. Yeah, no, that's totally. Black people were like, we want to live right here and nowhere else. You know? Also, it's hilarious because it's this notion that like California isn't racist when, it gave us Reagan and Nixon, okay? No, you guys don't understand. Like, you guys don't understand. There are just white enclaves and black neighborhoods for no reason. Okay, guys? That just kind of happened, you know? It wasn't like designed through financial tools and other systemic ways. That just kind of happened. It's so strange how that works, you know? Yeah, it just spilled out that way. Yeah, oopsie.
All of these supposed solutions are actually hurting. Wouldn't a better solution be to teach our kids that we're all born in the image of God? We should all treat one another equally. And if you're if you don't believe
then
in
all
God,
men should be
then
created
we're all
equal with certain
we're all
understandings.
equal, right? If you come from a poor neighborhood, whether you're black or Hispanic or an immigrant from anywhere, obviously you don't have the same privileges that somebody who comes from a wealthy community. But that has nothing to do with your color. I don't think that if you're an impoverished black kid or you're an impoverished white kid, one should receive a resource and the other shouldn't.
Would you say that it's economic then is the reason that causes these disparities?
Economic, but I don't think it's related to color.
But would you say if there's a majority of a particular group that lies underneath the poverty line in economic, that race has anything anything to do with that?
It
is what you're saying.
could, but it's just not blanket. You don't know. And why don't we
No,
look at the family?
no, it is. It is definitely one thing that you can say. Like, as much as I'm a fucking, as much as I talk about class regularly, like, pretty obvious what happened, right? Like, black people experience classist violence on racial boundaries, okay? That's what it is historically. If you're going to think about it as like classist depression, yes, black people have been subjected to a permanent underclass position on the boundaries of their race. That's it. And the only way to fucking, the only way to right those wrongs is by offering reparations and some way of, one, originally recognizing those wrongs and then doing something about it in forms of restitution. But if those wrongs were committed on the basis of race, which they were, then the correction is also going to be racialized. Complaining about that is fucking stupid.
Families, the black families who have done those amazing things in this country, and study what they did to succeed instead of just focusing on, oh, well, black people are behind and we don't even know what to do. Well, why don't we just go and look? Since you are a professor, wouldn't that be, you go and look at what has worked?
Well, I would never just go to you and just look at you. And I'm sorry, it's just the reality of the data. And so what I share...
Data can be broken up in umpteen different ways.
No,
yes, it can.
Actually, I just give
You're a
the
professor
data.
and you're saying
That's
that
why I
data
give
cannot be
data.
manipulated?
Bro, yes, data can be manipulated, but like, that's true. But like, what do you think? Like, the data is manipulated? That, the data that shows black people having worse outcomes overall, if you strip them of every other quality, okay? If you look at a black middle class family and a white middle class family, and the black middle class family underperforms in comparison to the white middle class family, how do you think that happens? Why do you think that happens? Do you think that there aren't still racist policies in place? Because if you don't recognize that there are still racist policies in place, you just straight up are saying the black family is underperforming because they're just inferior to the white family. That's why I always say there's only two ways to look at this. It's either some intrinsic factor or some external conditions. If you recognize that it's external conditions, then you recognize systemic racism. If you think that it's intrinsic factors, then you think it's just racial inferiority. That's it.
This is why my kids do not go to public school anymore.
And I'm glad they don't.
I just think it's interesting. I'm thinking of like an anecdotal story I have. Last year, the school that I taught at, Deep East Oakland, I served majority black and brown students. Over 70% of our families under the poverty line. These are some of the hardest working people I have ever seen in my life. They get up, they have 2 or 3 jobs, 3 or 4 children.
I would argue
because of their economic status, right?
Because of liberal policies that is the government telling them that they can and cannot succeed, because of how high our property taxes are here, because we do not have school choice where they can take their dollars somewhere else. If you put...
Oh God, it's a conservative talking point machine, dude. And by the way, we found out that she is literally a conservative radio host. That's why you literally have like actual liberal teachers going up against someone who like professionally propagandizes, okay? I hate that. Yeah, super high property taxes are the reasons why, black people are suffering under our current economic conditions, which, by the way, famously, white people don't pay property taxes. Man, if you're trying to fucking identify racial disparities, okay, then don't look at such broad, don't try to fucking, apply this insanely broad solution to it that almost immediately undermines the point that you're trying to make. It's like, oh, welfare, a dependence on welfare, liberal policies, taxes are too high. It's like, that's an interesting perspective, but like white people are paying those taxes too. So why are they not experiencing the same kind of fucking outcomes? You know? Ironic considering black people pay less property tax than white people do because black people are less likely to even be homeowners. What the fuck are you talking about? It's like, it's literally like saying, yeah, black people are falling behind white people in modern society because of the corporate the corporate tax rate, like, or because of the top marginal tax rate. It's like, literally, statistically speaking, they're less likely to be impacted by the thing that you're talking about.
Those same families in redder districts in the country, like places in Florida and Texas or Virginia, where they have better options for their family, you would definitely see them be.
If that was the case, then they would be doing better. But you know, it's just crazy that they're not. At least she didn't say estate tax. Yeah, she forgot about that.
And where black and brown children are still underperforming in schools?
But coming from Florida, the school that I was at, it's graded from like A to like D, F. When I started there, it was a C school. Very poor performing. And technically, sure, they have school choice. They don't have state tests anymore. But they're still so badly performing. The community of it.
She's so mad. Oh my God, dude. It's crazy. You seriously think that black people aren't doing better in Texas than Illinois? You're crazy. First and foremost, I fucking despise people that have been so sucked into this idiotic propaganda that they think black people in southern states are doing better. That's number one. It's not even true. Number two, okay, you're not comparing black people in Texas to black people in Illinois. You should be comparing black people to white people in that same state. That's what we're talking about with respect to like black people underperforming. Okay. And in that circumstance, they're still doing worse overall. And also, once again, I need to repeat myself over and over again. I hate this idea that like black people in the South are doing really well when no one in the South is doing well across the board. Okay, yeah, black people are thriving in Jackson, Mississippi. Exactly. I've lived in the South and the North. I live in a community with 60% black New Orleans. Definitely doing better in the South. We have more interracial marriages in Louisiana than any other state per capita. I wonder why. Maybe because, and this is like, if you told this to a liberal, they would have no answer for this because liberals only think the South is just like white people. I, on the other hand, am aware that there are more black people in the South than there are in the fucking North. So yeah, that's probably why there's more interracial marriages in New Orleans, which, by the way, is not even a factor of consideration here. Why the fuck did you even bring that up? Another fun fact from fucking New Orleans or Louisiana, if you want to talk about it, is also the fact that there's a literal slave plantation called Angola, named after the actual fucking plantation at the heart of Louisiana, right there. Like the state penitentiary is literally still named Angola after the fucking plantation, which was named after where the slaves were coming from. There's a reason why black people are there because that's where their culture and community can shine. Bro, there's no way this person's black, right? Oh, I totally get there's plenty of racism in every state, but the liberal racist racism is the most despicable because it's disguised. I mean, I fucking despise liberals that are racist as fuck too. But, and I talk about liberals being racist all the goddamn time. But what you're talking about here is entirely different. Like, you're trying to deny systemic racism. My wife is an Indian Muslim doctor, and she's never really had any issue with racism, but she's had coworkers that were black that had really bad experiences with racist whites. What? Okay, you're just like saying completely unrelated shit. You just like opened up 8 new lines of dialogue here, and I need to stick on message here, okay? Like you went on to so many different like personal anecdotes. There's a reason why there's a lot of black people in the South. I don't know if you know this. It's called slavery. That's where they were when they were stolen from their homes and ripped away from their culture. That's literally it. Like, it's not like people were up north. Not like motherfuckers were in like Illinois and they were like, man, I really want to move down to Alabama, dude. I really want to get a taste of Mississippi and all it has to offer me. Like, that's not a thing that happened. Okay? Sure, they could be like one or two fucking instances, but like, that's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Even though you and I don't agree on every single subject, I think you're a powerful voice and extremely important for the internet culture. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Thank you, bro. That's insane. So I'm imagining like the black people that were literally not allowed to live in Oregon because of black exclusion laws, for example, when it was a fucking territory, going, man, I want to try my luck down south, you know, at the Angola plantation. Let's go down there and see what that's about, you know, really trading up here. Like, oh, wow, I really like living in fucking Jackson. When there's no, you know, when the pipes have eroded and I don't have clean water to wash my body with, I definitely have the financial security to be able to leave, but I choose not to. Is that what you think is going on? You think that's what happened? Black people were like, I love living in a neighborhood where I'm getting lead poisoning from, you know, regular infrastructure that should offer me not poison in the water supply. But I choose to live here because my culture is thriving, dude. It's wild because not even white people that are well off in the South and black people still have it worse. Guys trying to deny it entirely. Yeah, that's the other part of the puzzle, is that like, it's not even just black people in the South that are doing worse overall. White people in the South are doing worse overall as well. For literally the right-wing policies that she was talking about as a prescription to get away from racism. That's crazy.
Black, brown, very little white students in that community. But not to say that student of color can't be more affluent, but I think it's ridiculous to kind of say that color doesn't play a part into disparities and just disadvantages. So in Florida, a lot of people that I had encountered weren't kind to others, and sometimes I would have coworkers.
I currently live in Wyoming, where people don't even know that racism exists, even though they're all racist. Probably they've just never met anyone else. Like I said, my wife is an Indian Muslim doctor. When she tells people she's Indian, they just think she's Native American. Bro, okay, you got to stop. You got to stop with these anecdotes. It's blowing my fucking mind. You have described nothing to me, okay? Like, you think you're saying stuff, but you're not saying anything. Please listen to your wife. She would probably urge you not to fucking type these things in the chat. It seems please go talk to your wife about this experience.
Call students retarded and using racist slurs and things like that. And from my standpoint, hearing something like that, it disgusted me. My coworkers very quickly were able to kind of distinguish me from the rest. Like, if I was gonna come to the teacher's lounge, more hush conversation, people wouldn't share as much as they used to just because I would call out behavior like that.
Teachers with guns make schools safer.
People think my Indian Muslim wife is Native American. No racism here in Wyoming, by the way. That's such a funny take. That's true. It's so dumb. Oh no, dude. It's so stupid, dude. Oh my God. Oh, it's good. It's really good. That guy is awesome. Never stop posting in the chat, brother. You got you're on fire, dude. Thank you, KO Fishy, for breaking down what that other chatter was saying.
You know what? I'm going to disagree.
So I was really in between. I didn't really know how I felt about this issue at first. But then I started looking at places that had armed their teachers.
Oh no, they're fucking talking about teachers with guns make schools safer.
So I believe that model is
Bro,
good.
I feel like Jubilee makes these videos for me and me only, okay? I feel like this is like mathematically made to break my brain. I'm about to have a fucking aneurysm watching this. Like every subject. It's also like scientifically the dumbest people they could find. What? Nah, this is actually weird. What did he do? And lead us not into temptation? What the fuck? Bro, you're 50. Dude, that's weird, man. Why are you posting that?
It has to be voluntary.
Yes.
So the teachers have to want to do it themselves. They have to be well trained.
Yes.
They have to have background checks periodically. That has been successful.
If we're trusting teachers, which in some cases we do, in some cases we don't, but if my mindset is that if we're going to trust teachers to mold our children's minds and educate them, they're there for 8 hours a day. We should also trust and kind of enable them to protect themselves and our kids physically.
But you don't even trust them to teach your children? What? Like, the first 22 minutes of this was literally, they're making my kid gay. I don't want that. So you don't even trust them to teach in general. Like, you have you have a difference in opinion about the concept of teaching. The concept of education is one that you are upset about. Okay? Now you want to arm them, dude? What the fuck? I want these queer teachers to have weapons. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's just like they're just responding to shapes, sizes, and shapes and colors, dude. They're such lizard brained. Like I pulled my children out of school and I'm homeschooling them now because they were teaching them gay shit. But also, I want those gay-ass teachers that have AR-15s. What? You don't trust them around a book. Why do you trust them around a weapon, dude? What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ. It's so transparent that it's just like literally policy that has been hardwired into their brains that they're just spitting out, that internally it makes no sense. It's like the irony of someone being like, I want all teachers to be armed and deadly, while also simultaneously saying you're pro-life. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that. I'm pro-life. That's why I think everyone should pay for healthcare. We need to paywall healthcare and important surgeries. That's how pro-life I am. I ride or die for life, actually.
By no means should we ever...
Except for the pregnant mother. Fuck that woman. If she's having a child and she doesn't want to have it.
Force a teacher to carry a gun, but if a teacher is willing to take on the responsibility of learning how to handle a weapon properly, I think that we should allow them to do that for us. And frankly,
bro, cops are supposed to be the most trained, like, in using their weapons. The NYPD active shooting target hit rate is like 7%. Okay, and those are the trained motherfuckers supposedly. You know what I mean? So So you really think a teacher's gonna be better? Like, what are you, crazy? No, not 70, man. You think the NYPD active shooting target hit rate is 70%? What do you think? There's just snipers, dude? What? No. Homie said 70%. Yeah, they got NYPD only hired 10s and Timmy, you know? It's crazy. They're doing flicks out there, dude. It's wild. No, they're out there shooting like fucking stormtroopers, dude. You're crazy.
It would be an incredible service to us.